Yeah, I just spoke to the folks in North Carolina. They tell me that this has been going on for several hours. These boaters have been in the water since yesterday evening. All is quiet this evening in Rockingham County after a very busy day for emergency crews who have spent the day on the Dan River still searching for two people who have been missing after a tubing accident. Aaron Noreen, the Danville Police Department tell me that this call came in around 3:15 this afternoon here along the 600 block of Campbell Street, and the scene is now clear. Investigators left just a few minutes ago, but here's a look at what that scene looked like earlier this afternoon. We are now going on 7 hours since police originally came out here to serve this warrant. The standoff continues off of a very busy Franklin Turnpike, and as you can tell, the scene still remains very active even at this hour. Yeah, the good news is most gas stations here in Danville seem to have gas right now, which makes filling up like this a little bit easier. But what you may not like is the price at the pump. My number 13 Ford Escape may be the fastest car on the track right now at South Boston Speedway, but that's going to soon change. Thousands of fans will once again fill the stands here at Martinsville Speedway. But for some, an RV, good food, and great friends. That's what it's all about. Cars were splashing water. There was a lot of ponding on roads. That's what's going to be so dangerous throughout the night tonight. As George mentioned, those downpours coming down so heavy in such a short period of time. It is, and this journey started back in May when Caesars was announced by the city of Danville here that they were going to be the preferred gaming operator. And in the months since, proponents of the project have been pushing what this resort could mean for Danville. And even here you can see the damage was left behind. This is the staircase that comes down from where the fire started. Plaster is here from upstairs, and if you look up to that second floor, you can see that middle room there where the fire began. Over the next few weeks, Caesars Entertainment will be cutting the city 2 separate checks. The first one is $5 million. That's going to go to the purchase of the Schoolfield site where that casino will be built. The second will go to the city of Danville at a total of $15 million. But with rising cases of coronavirus, many are finding RVs just like this one an alternative to a hotel room, and it's keeping local dealerships busy. What impact do you think this past year is going to have on students going forward, missing that in-person instruction?
We have a lot of catching up to do, and I think we are looking at adding some time to the calendar.
Non-essential businesses like these here in Danville will begin to reopen on Friday with restrictions, but hop in the car and drive just 30 minutes south to Greensboro, North Carolina, where Phase 1 began last Friday, allowing non-essential businesses to reopen.
A family of 3 brutally murdered. The person who did it never brought to justice.
And tonight, nearly 20 years after the Short family was killed, Henry County investigators are not done with this case. ABC 13's Daniel Cruz spoke with them about their plan to find who's responsible.
This abandoned field in Bassett is where the home of Michael and Mary Short once stood. The home where the two were found shot to death 19 years ago.
On August the 15th of 2002, they discovered Mr. Short deceased inside the home, as well as Miss Short.
Captain Wayne Davis was the first responding officer. Soon after arriving, they made another discovery. The couple's then 8-year-old daughter, Jennifer, was gone.
Jennifer was notably absent from the home. At that point, we began an extensive search to locate Jennifer.
After weeks of searching, Jennifer's remains were found here in Rockingham County, North Carolina. She was found in a creek near this bridge that now bears her name.
I think about the Jennifer Short case, and well, where was I at when I first heard about it?
Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page recalls well the tragic details of the investigation.
Who would commit such a heinous act, in Henry County, and then the remains of Jennifer Short were found down here? Who would do the act? Why would somebody do an act like that, a horrible act, and why would someone kidnap a child and then later murder a child?
Unanswered questions that remain now, even 19 years later, as one of the biggest cases in Henry County remains unsolved.
Well, the triple murder of a family is very frustrating to have unsolved, and everyone here would like to see this case solved to bring justice to the family, bring closure to the remaining family members.
Now, the Henry County Sheriff's Office has plans to begin a full review of this case.
Through the passing of time, many of the original investigators have either retired or left law enforcement. So the purpose of this task force is to bring new investigators up to speed we're going to review the physical evidence in hopes that maybe there's new forensic technology that would lead to developing a suspect in this case.
One thing investigators never lost: hope. Hope that one day they will find justice for this family.
We'd like to solve this case, and I believe it can be solved, but I always believe that the piece of the puzzle is out there.
Someone could have something that they feel is insignificant, but it could make the difference to us.
Daniel Cruz, ABC 13 News.
Shortly after dawn, God's pit crew loaded up their heavy equipment and hit the road. This mission is to clear debris, including the countless trees that litter Charlotte County.
Well, these fell first, and then the one hit the carport.
Linda Newcomb has numerous fallen trees across her property.
I stood on the porch, and it was just like toothpicks breaking in the woods. It was one tree after another just falling all over the place here.
Her house was spared. The carport where she had parked her car the day before was not.
Walked out, and I saw that the car hadn't been touched. And I said, oh my gosh. I was truly blessed with that.
She's got trees on top of her carport, all over her yard, on top of sheds. She said she didn't know what she was going to do, so we showed up.
Chris Chiles is the response coordinator for God's pit crew. He and his team from Danville spent hours cutting trees and dragging away limbs.
So if something happens in Virginia, we're going to show up.
For Newcomb, she says their work is a blessing.
In all this happening, you see who all the good people are and how they come out and help.
This crew spent much of the day surveying damage across the area. God's pit crew will remain here in Charlotte County for the next 3 days, working to clean up all that Mother Nature brought down. In Charlotte County, Daniel Cruz, ABC 13 News.
News coverage you can count on. This is ABC 13 News at 11.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Daniel Cruz. We are following some breaking news out of Roanoke right now, where officials confirm that shots were fired inside the Valley View Mall following an altercation there. ABC 13's Alessandra Young joins us live tonight with the latest from officials. Allie. As the holidays come to an end, millions are already making their way back home. AAA estimating the bulk of that travel will be on the roadways. While overall air travel was down nearly 60% from the same time last year, TSA says more than 7 million people still took to the skies this past week. Tonight, nearly 2 million COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered across the U.S. That's according to the CDC's COVID tracker. As of this morning, more than 9.5 million vaccines have been distributed. Those totals include both the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine. As of today, 1 in 1,000 Americans have died from COVID-19. That's according to the U.S. Census Bureau and Johns Hopkins University. The first reported case of COVID was reported nearly 1 year ago in January of 2020. Deadly Christmas Day shooting is now under investigation in Roanoke. Authorities say they responded to Bennett Drive this morning around 8 after a call to 911. When they got there, police say they found a woman who had been shot lying on the ground outside of a home. New tonight, a massive explosion rocked downtown Nashville this Christmas morning, and now authorities are saying it was intentional. Officials say it was felt for miles. Aerial footage showing what looks like a war zone with extensive damage to buildings and cars parked near the source of the blast. The World Health Organization has issued a report saying acceptance of the COVID-19 vaccines will depend on those who administer it, quote, building the trust of the community.